Hello everyone, welcome back to another FSX tutorial. In this video I'll be showing you how to do a VOR navigation from one airport to the other and using your GPS to select an approach, or if the vectors are available at the destination airport, how to follow the vectors and land on the designated runway. So today for this flight, it's going to be a very short flight. We'll be flying from Venice to Sarasota International Airport. That's this one right here, and as you can see, the distance between the two is around 21 nautical miles. Okay, so also guys, if you like this video, do share it and do subscribe, and let me know if you want me to show some or make some other videos on FSX. Okay, let's go back to our simulator. Today we'll be flying a Cessna, and as you can see, the engine's shut. Let's go ahead and give it a quick start. Now for this flight I've just used Control A, but if you want a tutorial on how to start a Cessna manually, I can show that to you. And today we'll be flying on the 2D cockpit mostly, as I need to show you guys how to use the instruments, especially the heading indicator to navigate ourselves, heading, and the OBS, the navigational instrument, to navigate to Sarasota. Now the information that we need for today's flight is basically just one frequency, and that is the VOR frequency for Sarasota International Airport. Now as you can see on a map, a VOR looks somewhat like this, a hexagon with a square. Now it has a square, I guess, because this VOR is equipped with a DME. A DME is a distance measuring equipment, and the full form of a VOR is very high frequency omnidirectional radio waves. So it basically shoots radio waves in all 360-degree radials, so the aircrafts can tune into the frequency and navigate towards the VOR, and once they are close enough to the airport, they can switch to a traffic pattern, or ask for vectors, or fly straight in towards the operational runway. Okay, so for today all we need is the frequency for this VOR, that you can see is 117.00 megahertz. Let's go ahead and tune this into our radio panel. Now as you can see, I have already tuned in. The frequency on my nav1 com. As you can see here, nav1, that's my standby frequency. When I click the standby button, it will automatically be activated, and we'll be then connected to the VOR, and by using our VOR1 indicator we'll be flying towards it, and I will give you all the further explanation during the flight. So as you might have noticed, Venice is a non-towered airport, and so all the traffic is connecting on a common frequency and keeping others updated on what their intentions are. Today, as we can see, the winds are coming in from the north. Basically the winds are calm, but still we will be using runway runway 31 for takeoff for today, as we need a headwind for the Cessna to be able to fly and for effective takeoff. Okay, so this is our ATC panel. Let's go ahead and select runway 31. Now we need to depart straight out. That's us. Now we have just stated our intentions to the traffic around, and we'll be initiating our taxi to the runway shortly. So let's check the surroundings. No other planes here, and we can also check our taxiways. So this is the runway, this is the holding point we need to get to. That's holding point Delta, runway 31. Now in order to reach there, here we are. We'll push back and tilt our face to the south, then proceed straight ahead to Alpha, turn left Alpha, turn right Charlie, cross this runway, then proceed straight and then cross runway 22 onto taxiway Delta. Okay, so let's start our pushback. There you can see. We can set our flaps to 1 notch. Flap set for takeoff. Trim set for takeoff. Okay, here we go. Always try and not exceed 20 knots while taxiing. Left onto Alpha. There you can see. We take a right from here. You can see on the right we'll be turning right onto taxiway Charlie. Also guys, if you are beginners, do try not to use the progressive taxi.
Victor November Charlie, traffic, Cessna Hotel, Bravo Mike Echo Sierra, is taxiing to runway 31. Kilo Victor Delta Foxtrot, traffic, Airways 930, please clear the runway.
Here we can recheck, we are on the right track. Now Sarasota International will be a towered airport, so once we reach close to it, we might, let's look right, confirm there's no one around, and cross the runway. This anyways is a closed runway, so I don't think there would be any traffic coming in. Yep, so Sarasota will be having a tower, so let's see. Once we reach close enough, we'll be contacting the tower and ask for a permission. We'll ask for a full stop landing. Left from here, we'll halt at the stopping point. Make sure there's no one on the final or taking off, and we'll start our taxi. We would want to clear the runway as soon as possible. We are right now parallel to the runway 31, as you can see here on little nav map. We'll be turning, we are on Delta presently, and we'll be turning right for the holding point. As I can see right now, there's no one on final runway 31, and neither are we hearing anyone on the comms. That's our holding point. Let's hold here. Parking brakes armed. Let's go ahead and check our autopilot for a while. Our initial heading will be 320. Let's set our heading. So I'm using my tablet here, but you guys can set your heading with the heading knob. But using your tablet is a very handy tool. I have the software called FS Free Radio Panel. It's an outstanding software. So you just notice my heading change when I change it on my tab. So 320, look at that. It's quite handy. Okay, we have our heading set, and our altitude will be 030, that's 3000 feet. Altitude set. Okay, and we'll set our vertical speed to 800. That's set too. Okay, that's all for now. Let's announce our takeoff.
Kilo Victor November Charlie, traffic, Cessna Hotel, Bravo Mike Echo Sierra, taking off runway 31, straight out departure.
Now once we leave the runway, we will have to call that we are now clear of runway so that other planes can use the runway. Here we go. We'll be looking in for 60 knots. That's 60. Rotate. And we're up. We have a safe climb rate. Flaps up. We're heading straight towards Sarasota. Our autopilot's on. Altitude on, and you can see the plane climbing now. Heading hold switch is on. Okay, so let's contact Tampa approach. Request flight following.
Tampa approach, Cessna Hotel, Bravo Mike Echo Sierra, type Cessna, Sahas 1 miles northwest of Kilo Victor November Charlie.
Now is the time that we activate our VOR frequency. Acknowledging the squawk code. Squawk code is basically the code that we set here, 2155. With the help of this code, the ATC can see us in their radar and they can follow us. Okay.
Piper, November 000 Niner Foxtrot, Tampa, approach.
Let's turn on our nav 1 radio. There you can see, and we have our active frequency. Right there. Great. You can see on the little nav maps we are off to Sarasota. That's the airport we took off from. Okay guys, so there was a bit of a correction there. So the frequency for the VOR is 115.20 and not 117.00. That's my fault because my little nav map shows the frequency as 117.00, and I know why this problem exists. That's basically because if I go to my scenery library, you can see that my navids and procedure data is being pulled out from Navigraph and not from my FSX. So in my FSX, the simulator, the frequency is 115.20, and I just figured that out lately because let me just pause the flight. My VOR1 indicator wasn't responding. So okay guys, so the 117 frequency was a wrong frequency. The right frequency is 115.20. How did I know that? Because when I tuned in 117, my VOR1 indicator did not show any response. As soon as I tuned in 115.20, the central needle just shifted to the right. So that means that we are now tuned into the VOR. And so basically the way we use the VOR1 indicator to fly towards the VOR is that we turn the knob to bring the needle to the center, and if we are flying to the VOR, the arrow here, the nav arrow, as you can see, should be facing upwards. That means we are flying to it, and if it's facing downwards, that would mean we are flying from it. So for now, as we are flying towards it, let's turn the knob to the right, and there you can see the needle go to the left, and we keep on turning till we get a 2 arrow. There you can see the arrow shift, and we go further as the needle comes back in between there. Okay, so that's the heading we need to fly to. That is very close to straight north, so that will be around 350. Let's switch to 350. Okay, now if I resume my flight, you'll see my plane turn towards the heading, and you can hear that voice. Now on our ATC we go to the nearest airport list, and there we can see Sarasota. Press 6 to select it, and just wait till we reach close to the airport. The needle shifted a bit to the right. We need to correct our heading to keep our needle in the middle. I just recalibrated my heading indicator as it was miscalibrated. There you can see the airport. We'll be there shortly. Let's just descend to 2500. That's 025, and reduce our speed to maintain 120. 100. You can see our needle shift to the right. You're right on course towards the VOR. If you see here, there, our plane turned to the right straight towards the VOR. Once we reach close enough, as somewhere around here, we will contact Sarasota Tower. Let's go through the ATIS once. So runway 32 is in use today, and we are coming straight in runway 32. Let's contact Sarasota Tower and request a full stop landing. There we have a straight in runway 32. So now we can acknowledge that and turn off our nav 1, as we do not need the VOR anymore. We can see on our GPS, disable the autopilot, start our descent, and turn right towards the localizer. As you can see on my GPS right here, that's the localizer. Setting trim.
Sarasota Tower, airway D242, ready for north departure at runway 32. Airway D242, clear for takeoff, runway 32, north departure, clear for takeoff, runway.
There you can see we are turning final, and we'll come straight in runway 32. If this was not a towered airport, let me just pause the flight. If this was not a towered airport, we would have flew straight till the VOR, and till the time we would have found the airport, and then according to the charts we would have followed one of the traffic patterns if it was a VFR flight, or else if it was an instrumental flight, that's an IFR, we would have tuned into the ILS frequency of runway 32, that is a 111.30, and with the help of our GPS and autopilot we would have landed runway 32. But for this flight we have our GPS and we have the airport in sight, so we have the acknowledgement from the ATC to fly straight in, and hence we'll proceed towards the airport. Here you can see the airport on the GPS. I'm trying to stay aligned with the horizon to keep my attitude straight and maintaining the same pitch as I reduce my throttle to descent. Always remember, throttle for altitude and pitch for speed.
Airway 242, you are leaving my airspace. Change to cruise.
There you can see the runway from the left window. We're down to 2000.
Runway 32.
And there we just got our landing clearance.
Runway 32. Cessna Mike Echo Sierra.
Turning final, runway 32. That's the runway. Maintaining the descent rate. Setting flaps 1.
Piper 09 Foxtrot. Cleared to land. Runway 32. Following Cessna Skyhawk on final. Cleared to land. Runway 32. Piper 09 Foxtrot.
Maintaining 80 knots. That's the Piper on the right, downwind, runway 32. We'll be coming in for landing after us.
Runway 32. Altimeter 2992. Cleared to land. Runway 32. Followed aircraft on final. Cleared to land. Runway 32. Number 2. Pacifica 6269er.
We have an A321 right behind us, so we gotta speed up a bit. The alignment seems fine, but we are a bit higher as the PAPI lights show us. They're all yellow. That means we're high. We need 2 yellow and 2 red. Reducing our speed to descend faster. We have full flaps to create enough drag. Adjusting the pitch to maintain 80 knots. There you see we have 1 red. Increase a bit of throttle to reduce our descent, and we are on the glide slope. We need to maintain that a bit low. Increase throttle. We'll touch down right after the landing markers. The Pacifica behind us came too slow, too close. Flare, touchdown. We need to exit the runway ASAP. And here we exit the runway. Okay guys, so I hope you liked the video. Do like, share and subscribe, and if you want me to make the same video in Hindi for my Indian friends, please let me know in the comments section, and have a great day. Bye bye.